January 29th, 1945, 2:47 p.m. Holzheim, Belgium. A first sergeant named Leonard Funk walks around the corner of a farmhouse. What he sees next will change everything. But not in the way you'd expect. Stops dead. 90 German soldiers are staring at him. Not just soldiers, an entire armed battalion standing mere feet away. Half of them are pointing weapons directly at him. The other half are frantically grabbing rifles from a pile on the ground and kneeling in the blood-stained snow. His 4 men, American G's, with their hands locked behind their heads, completely helpless. Here's the problem. These Germans should be prisoners. Only 20 minutes ago, they were locked down. Funk's company had captured 80 of them during the assault. 80. But here's the brutal math: could only spare 4 men to guard all of them. 4 exhausted soldiers against 80 desperate German soldiers. And somewhere in the chaos and blinding snow, a German patrol slipped through. They freed the prisoners, armed them, organized them, and now they're preparing for a devastating counterattack that will hit Funk's scattered company from behind. It should be a massacre. But then something happens that defies all logic. A German officer, probably a lieutenant, steps forward. His face is twisted with rage. Esobes an MP-40 submachine gun directly into Funk's stomach so hard it knocks the air out of him. He screams. A guttural, furious command in German. Funk doesn't understand a single word. The officer screams again. Louder, veins bulging in his neck, face turning purple with fury. And Leonard Funk. He starts laughing. Not a military legend. Not a warrior born from heroic stock. Just an ordinary man from an ordinary place. August 27th, 1916. Braddock Township, Pennsylvania. Steel town. Smokestacks and foundries lining the Monongahela River, 8 miles east of Pittsburgh. The kind of place where a working man's hands stayed dirty and his future was already decided before he was born. Funk grew up fast. While other kids played, Leonard was learning responsibility. By the time he graduated high school in 1934, he'd already been taking care of his younger brother. He was barely an adult, but he'd already lived a grown man's life. The Great Depression was strangling America. Jobs? Non-existent. College? Pure fantasy. He was heading for the mills, just like every other kid from Braddock. Steelwork, a pension, a decent grave with his name on it. Then came June 1941. Congress extended the draft. Funk's number came up. He reported to the induction center in Willingsburg, Pennsylvania. The Army physical examiner looked at him. 140 pounds. A former store clerk with a quiet manner and steady eyes made a calculation. Clerk duty, the examiner probably thought. He was spectacularly wrong, because Leonard Funk volunteered for the paratroopers. The paratroopers. In 1941, American airborne forces barely existed. The concept was brand new. Insane. They wanted you to jump out of perfectly good aircraft, land behind enemy lines, and fight while surrounded. To most soldiers, it sounded like suicide. But the volunteers, they were a different breed. They had to be. Airborne training doesn't build soldiers. It breaks them and sees who's still standing. 5 weeks of running. Jumping, climbing, falling. Brutal physical conditioning that washed out half the candidates before they even got near a parachute. The jump towers came next. Then, the aircraft. The first time you step out of a C-47 at 1,200 feet, everything in your body screams the same message. Grab the doorframe and hold on. The ground is impossibly far away. The wind tears at your face like claws. Your parachute is just fabric and cord and faith. Funk earned his jump wings. By D-Day, June 6, 1944. He wasn't just a paratrooper anymore. He was a squad leader in Company C, 1st Battalion, 508th Parachute Infantry Regiment, and he was about to jump into hell. La 1:30 Altoem. The C-47 shot. Flak explodes around it like thunder. Funk is standing in the stick-the-line of paratroopers waiting to jump. 60 pounds of equipment strapped to his body. M1A1 Thompson submachine gun, ammunition, grenades, medical kit, rations. The aircraft is at 400 feet. Far too low for a safe jump. But the pilots can't climb higher. German anti-aircraft fire is everywhere. Tracers arc through the darkness like angry fireflies. The men can hear fragments pinging off the fuselage. The Normandy invasion involves 13,000 paratroopers from the 82nd and 101st Airborne Divisions. They're supposed to land behind the beaches, secure bridges and crossroads, prevent German reinforcements. Nothing goes according to plan. Nothing. The green light comes on. Funk jumps. The prop blast hits him like a truck. Then the chute deploys, and the world goes silent. Below him occupied France. Enemy territory in every direction. Chaos erupts immediately. German anti-aircraft fire has scattered formations across 50 miles of French countryside. Paratroopers are landing in flooded fields and drowning under the weight of their equipment. Others come down in the middle of German camps and die before they can cut free of their harnesses. Funk lands hard. His ankle twists unimpactably sprained, maybe fractured. The pain is immediate and intense. Every step will be agony for the next 2 weeks. But he can walk. He can fight. And that's all that matters. He gathers his chute, buries it, and starts moving into the darkness. He's 40 miles from his drop zone. Alone, in German-held territory. In the dark. What happens next seems impossible. Until you realize Leonard Funk wasn't ordinary at all. Within hours, he's collected other lost paratroopers, men from different units, different companies, different regiments. All of them confused, all of them terrified, all of them looking for leadership. Funk gives it to them. Eventually, he has 18 men, an entire ghost platoon of soldiers who should have been scattered across France. For the next 10 days, Funk leads this group through German-held territory, traveling at night, hiding by day, fighting when they have to. And here's what made Funk different. He insisted on serving as lead scout, despite a shattered ankle. He put himself in the most dangerous position to protect his men. Not because he was fearless, but because he was thinking when everyone else had stopped. These days, 40 miles of German-occupied France and 18 men. 0 casualties. Every single man survived. Leonard Funk brought them all home. Funk was just getting started. Operation Market Garden. The bridge too far, September 17, 1944. Holland. Field Marshal Montgomery launches the largest airborne assault in history. 35,000 paratroopers dropping into the Netherlands to capture 7 bridges across 64 miles of Dutch territory. If it works, the Allies will be in Germany by Christmas. But Montgomery's ambition runs ahead of reality. Everything that can go wrong does. The British 1st Airborne Division lands at Arnhem, the furthest bridge. They're surrounded by SS Panzer divisions that weren't supposed to be there. For 9 days, they fight. For 9 days, they die. Only 2,000 of 10,000 men make it out. The bridge too far enters military history as a cautionary tale. But Leonard Funk doesn't know about the big picture. He only knows his mission: support the landings, secure drop zones, kill Germans. After touching down, his company secures their objective. Standard stuff. Then Funk notices something that isn't part of the plan. 3 German 20mm flak anti-aircraft guns are firing at incoming Allied gliders. The gliders carry reinforcements, jeeps, artillery, ammunition, medical supplies. Hundreds of men will die before they even touch the ground if those guns keep firing. The gun position is dug in on high ground near Vauxhall. Approximately 20 German soldiers manning the weapons. Sandbags, camouflage, interlocking fields of fire. Military doctrine says you need a 3-to-1 advantage to assault a prepared position. Funk has 3 men. He's outnumbered 7-to-1. Funk leads his 3-man patrol directly at the German position. They killed the security detachment, stormed the gun emplacement, neutralize all 3 weapons and their crews. 20 Germans, 3 Americans. The guns go silent. The gliders land safely. The men live. Distinguished Service Cross. 2nd highest decoration for valor, 1 step below the Medal of Honor. Funk now has a Silver Star and a DSC. 2 of the rarest combat decorations in the entire American military. Most soldiers who earn even 1 are considered heroes for life. Funk still isn't done. December 16, th. 1944. Hitler's last gamble. The Germans launched their last desperate offensive. 3 armies, 400,000 men, 1,400 tanks, 1,900 artillery pieces. They crash through the American lines in the Ardennes forest like a hammer blow. Hitler's plan is insane. But it almost works. He's gambling everything split. The Allied armies capture Antwerp, force a negotiated peace so Germany can focus on the Soviets. For the Americans, it's a nightmare. The offensive hits thinly held sectors. Entire divisions crumble. Thousands surrender. The German advance creates a 50-mile bulge in the Allied lines. The Battle of the Bulge. The largest battle the American army will fight in World War II. The weather is apocalyptic. Snow, ice, temperatures dropping to 5 degrees below zero. Men freeze to death in their foxholes. Weapons jam. Vehicles won't start. The cold is as deadly as the Germans. Then comes Normandy. December 17, th. 1944. The moment that killed something inside Funk. A convoy from the 285th Field Artillery Observation Battalion is moving near the Bogen's crossroads when they collide with the spearhead of an SS armored battle group. The Americans are re-echelon troops. Artillery observers. Radio operators. Not fighters. Not equipped. 4 tanks. After a brief engagement, 113 Americans surrender. They are herded into a farmer's field. Hands up. Disarmed. Prisoners of war. Then the SS opens fire. Machine guns. Pistols. Rifles. 84 Americans die in that field. Shot down like cattle. Men who try to run are cut down. Men who fall wounded are finished with bullets to the head. The rest lie in the snow for hours, while German boots walk past them. German voices laugh. When darkness comes, 43 survivors crawl away. The news spreads through the American army like poison. Something changed that day. The unofficial rules of war, a grim professionalism between enemies. The Geneva Convention that both sides respected died in that field. American soldiers swear they'll never surrender to the SS. Some units pass down orders. No SS prisoners. When Leonard Funk hears about Normandy, something hardens inside him. He's already seen too much. Normandy, Hallen? Friends dying in fields and forests. But this is different. He sees more there. Cold-blooded execution of surrendered men. Leonard Funk makes a decision that will matter very soon. He will never surrender to the Germans, no matter what. The German offensive has been broken. Now the Allies push back. Company C, 508th Parachute Infantry, gets orders to capture the Belgian village of Holzheim. But there's a problem. Company C is severely under. The executive officer's second in command has been killed. They don't have enough men. Funk is now acting executive officer. He looks at his depleted roster and makes a decision. He walks to the company headquarters tent. Inside are clerks, supply personnel, cooks, men who've spent most of the war behind desks, men who've never fired a shot at another human being. You're all infantry now, Funk tells them. Grab your weapons. We're taking that village. He forms a makeshift platoon. 30 men, half of them don't belong in combat. Basic training, sure, but real combat, most of them have never experienced it. Funk doesn't care. He needs but he'll turn them into soldiers. 15 miles through waist-deep snow in a driving blizzard, temperatures well below freezing. German artillery shells explode around them, harassing fire from the flanks. Funk leads from the front. They reach Holzheim. Funk organizes the assault. His clerks, his makeshift warriors, follow him into the village. 15 houses. Germans in every one. Machine guns. Rifles. Grenades. Funk and his men clear them all. 30 prisoners captured. Not one American casualty. Another unit captures 50 more Germans on the other side of town. 80 prisoners total. They're corralled in the yard of a farmhouse. Funk looks at his exhausted men. They've been marching and fighting for hours. Scattered German soldiers are still resisting elsewhere. Keep him here, Funk tells the 4 guards. We'll send reinforcements when we can. He heads back into the fight. He has no idea what's about to happen behind him. While he's clearing the rest of Holzheim, a German patrol approaches the farmhouse. DS men, maybe 20, wearing white camouflage capes over their uniforms. In the snow and confusion, they look almost identical to American troops in winter gear. The 4 guards don't realize the danger until it's too late. The Germans overwhelm them, disarm them, force them to their knees. Then they free the prisoners. 80 German soldiers, plus the patrol that freed them. 90 men total. They grab weapons from the pile. They organize quickly. They know exactly what they're going to do. Attack Company C from the rear. Funk's company is scattered across the village. If 90 Germans hit them while they're spread out ... it'll be a massacre. The German officer in charge begins giving orders. Position the machine guns here. Set up the ambush there. Wait for my signal. That's when Leonard Funk walks around the corner. He's come to check on the prisoners. Routine. Make sure the guards are okay. See if reinforcements have arrived. He's not expecting to walk into 90 armed Germans. He rounds the corner of the farmhouse and freezes. The scene is surreal. His 4 guards are on their knees in the snow. The prisoners who should be unarmed and content are standing everywhere, rifles in their hands, organizing for battle. The German officer spots Funk immediately. The first sergeant stripes on his sleeve mark him as a leader. A prize. The officer strides forward. So bis his MP40 into Funk's stomach so hard Funk staggers. He screams a command in German. Surrender. Drop your weapon. Except Funk doesn't speak German. He has no idea what the officer is saying. The officer screams again. Louder. His face is red. Veins are bulging in his neck. Funk looks around. 90 Germans. Half of them armed, his 4 men disarmed and helpless. 1 other American soldier, standing beside him, equally helpless. The mathematics of survival are 0. There is literally no scenario where Leonard Funk wins this fight. No benta 2-1, a gun in his stomach. Certain death standing on all sides. The sensible thing, the rational thing is to surrender. But Funk remembers Normandy. He's already decided he'll never surrender to the Germans. So instead of complying, Leonard Funk does something inexplicable. He starts laughing. Nobody knows exactly why Funk laughed. Maybe it was a ruse, a deliberate tactic to confuse the enemy. And maybe it was stress. The human brain does strange things when faced with certain death. Maybe it was genuine amusement. The absurdity of the situation, an officer screaming in a language Funk couldn't understand, expecting compliance. Funk himself later said, "I tried to stop laughing, but I couldn't." Something about the German screaming in German touched a nerve. Whatever the reason, the effect is devastating. The German officer screams louder. Funk laughs harder. Evans, shoulders shaking, calls out to his men. I don't understand what he's saying. Some of the German soldiers start laughing too. The tension is bizarre. Their officer is turning purple with rage. This American won't stop. It doesn't make sense. It violates every rule of warfare. The officer is completely thrown off. This isn't how prisoners behave. They beg, they plead, y compli. They don't stand there laughing while you shove a gun in their stomach. For a few critical seconds that will change everything. The German officer doesn't know what to do, and Leonard Funk uses those seconds. Still appearing to laugh, Funk slowly reaches up toward his Thompson submachine gun. It's slung over his shoulder, the standard carrying position for paratroopers. The German officer watches. This is good. The American is finally surrendering. Funk's hand closes around the grip. He begins to unsling it slowly. Carefully, deliberately. The German relaxes slightly. He's about to have another prisoner. Another trophy. Then Funk moves. One motion, faster than thought. He swings the Thompson down, brings the muzzle into line, squeezes the trigger. The M1A1 Thompson fires .45 ACP rounds at 600 per minute. At close range, each round hits like a sledgehammer. The bullets don't just wound. They destroy. The first burst catches the German officer in the chest. 30 rounds in less than 3 seconds. The officer is dead before he hits the ground. Funk doesn't stop. Can't stop. The moment he started shooting, he committed to killing everyone or dying himself. There's no middle ground. He pivots still firing. The Thompson sprays an arc of lead across the German soldiers nearest to him. Men scream. Men fall. Blood sprays across the snow. Brass casings tumble through the air, steaming in the cold. The magazine runs dry. 30 rounds gone in seconds. This is the critical moment. A Thompson takes 2 seconds to reload if you're practiced. 2 seconds is forever in a firefight. 2 seconds is enough time for 90 Germans to kill 1 American. Funk yanks the empty magazine out, slams a fresh one in, racks the bolt, keeps shooting. The whole sequence takes less than a heartbeat. Pure muscle memory. Thousands of hours of training compressed into one fluid motion. At the same time, he's screaming at his men, "Pick up their weapons! Pick up their weapons!" The 4 guards still on their knees seconds ago scramble for the rifles the dead Germans have dropped. They're transformed in an instant from prisoners back to soldiers, fighting for their lives. The Germans are in chaos. Their officer is dead. The American who is laughing is now killing them. Nobody gave orders for this. Nobody knows what to do. Some of them shoot back. Bullets crack past Funk's head. 1 round kills the soldier standing beside him. Funk keeps firing, moving, killing. His guards have weapons now. They're shooting too. The Germans are caught in a crossfire they never expected. 60 seconds. That's all it takes. 21 German soldiers lie dead in the snow. 24 more are wounded. The rest, more than 40, have thrown down their weapons and raised their hands. The prisoners are prisoners again. Leonard Funk stands in the middle of the carnage, smoke rising from his Thompson, surrounded by bodies. That, he says to his men, was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. He says it matter-of-factly, like he just watched someone spill coffee. Not like he just did the impossible. Company C secures Holzheim. The surviving Germans are marched to the rear under much heavier guard this time. Funk reports the incident to his commanding officer. Just another firefight. Just another day in the war. But the story spreads. Through the regiment, through the division, through the entire 82nd Airborne. The sergeant who laughed at 90 Germans and killed half of them with a Tommy gun. When the Medal of Honor recommendation reaches Washington, nobody questions it. What Funk did at Holzheim is beyond dispute. Outnumbered 90-1. An enemy weapon in his gut, certain death surrounding him. And instead of surrendering, he attacked. First Sergeant Leonard Alfred Funk Jr., although overwhelmingly outnumbered and facing almost certain death, when ordered to surrender by a German officer who had pushed a machine pistol into his stomach, pretended to comply. Beginning slowly to unsling his submachine gun from his shoulder, he then, with lightning motion, brought the muzzle into line and riddled the German officer with bullets. He turned upon the other Germans, firing and shouting to the other Americans to seize the enemy's weapons. 21 of the enemy were killed and 24 wounded before the rest threw down their weapons and surrendered. September 5, 1945. The White House. President Harry Truman places the Medal of Honor around Leonard Funk's neck. "I would rather have this medal," Truman says, looking directly at the 5'5" former store clerk, then be President of the United States. Let's count what Leonard Funk earned during World War II. Medal of Honor for Holz. Distinguished Service Cross for the anti-aircraft guns in Holland. Silver Star for leading 18 men through 40 miles of enemy territory in Normandy. Bronze Star for meritorious service. 3 Purple Hearts, 1 for each time he was wounded and kept fighting. Plus international decorations. The Croix de Guerre from France. The Order of Leopold from Belgium. The Military Order of William from the Netherlands, their equivalent of the Victoria Cross. Leonard Funk is the most decorated paratrooper of World War II. 5'5" tall, 140 pounds, a former store clerk. A legend. The war ends. Funk goes home. He doesn't write a book, doesn't do the lecture circuit, doesn't turn his Medal of Honor into a speaking career or a political platform, doesn't cash in on his fame. He goes back to Pennsylvania and gets a job with the Veterans Administration. WWII, massive bureaucracy, responsible for taking care of America's former soldiers. He helps veterans navigate paperwork, processes disability claims, cuts through red tape for men who'd given everything and now needed help. The same kind of clerk work he did before the war. The same quiet, unglamorous, necessary work. For 27 years, Leonard Funk sits at a desk and helps veterans. He rises through the ranks, becomes division chief of the Pittsburgh Regional Office. Good salary. Steady hours, a pension waiting. His wife, Gertrude, sticks with him through all of it. They have 2 daughters. They live in McKeesport, Pennsylvania, working-class neighborhood, in a working-class town not far from where he grew up. The Medal of Honor hangs in a case somewhere. The Distinguished Service Cross, the Silver Star, all the foreign decorations from France, Belgium, and the Netherlands. He never talks about them. When people ask about Holzheim, about the laughiness, about the 90 Germans, he shrugs it off. Did what I had to do. That's it. That's all he ever says. Leonard Alfred Funk Jr. dies of cancer. He's 76 years old. They bury him at Arlington National Cemetery. Section 35. Grave 23. 1734 among the heroes of every American war. At the time of his death, he's the last surviving Medal of Honor recipient from the 82nd Airborne Division in World War II. A fitness center at Fort Bragg, now Fort Liberty, is named after him. A highway in Pennsylvania bears his name. A post office in McKeesport was dedicated to him in 2023, but most people have never heard of Leonard Funk. They know Audie Murphy, they know Alvin York. They know the famous Medal of Honor recipients. They don't know the short, quiet paratrooper who laughed at 90 Germans and killed 21 of them with a Tommy gun. Here's what the story of Leonard Funk tells us. War doesn't favor the big, it doesn't favor the strong. It doesn't favor the reckless or the fearless. War favors the ones who keep thinking when everyone else has stopped. At Holzheim, Leonard Funk had every reason to surrender. The math was impossible. 90 against 1, a gun in his stomach. his men already captured, any rational person would have given up. But Funk wasn't thinking about the math, he was thinking about Normandy. About 84 Americans murdered in a field. About what the Germans did to prisoners. About his men, the 4 guards on their knees. The soldiers scattered across the village, who would be hit from behind if these Germans escaped. So a latch, maybe as a tactic. Maybe from stress. Maybe because the whole thing struck him as absurd. And while the German officer was confused, while everyone was off balance, while the impossible moment hung suspended in time, Leonard Funk made his move. 60 seconds later, he was standing in a field of bodies alive when he should have been dead. There's a quote often attributed to President Truman about the Medal of Honor. "I would rather have this medal than be President of the United States." He said it to Leonard Funk. September 5, 1945. The White House, Rose Garden. Think about that. The most powerful man in the world. The man who had just ended World War II. The man who would reshape the entire global order. Looking at a 5'5" former store clerk from Pennsylvania, and saying, "I'd rather be you," because what Truman understood, what everyone who reads the Medal of Honor citations understands, is that courage isn't about size or strength or training. Courage is what you do when there's a gun in your stomach, and 90 men want you dead.